All right, I believe we're rolling. So, hello everybody. My name is Karyn Kane. I am the founder of Believe in Humans. Welcome to Keeping It Real with Karyn. Your guest today, that I'm so excited, or my guest today, your guest that you're going to watch, is Dana Smith, and she is the founder of Universal Consciousness. Dana has also been my prayer partner through my spiritual practitioner classes and one of my very awesome, excellent friends. Welcome, Dana.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Karen. And thank you so much for inviting me. Keeping it real with Karen. I just love the title because that's one thing, Karen, that you do. You keep it real. I love that.
Thank you. I learned. I've it's a learned practice
Mm-hmm.
to really be authentic and just be yourself. And I know that that's really one thing that we're going to talk about today. So it's Transformation Tuesday. And the reason that I asked you on the show today was because I have a transformation group going on right now. And the people and the individuals in that group really are in that group to find their passion and
Mm-hmm.
really get in touch with who they are, their true authentic selves. And I think that, you and I know we went through 2.5 years, but even before that, so much work that we've done on ourselves to really get to being where we are now and, being as authentic and real with Karyn, that we can be. And
Exactly.
I just know that you have so much to share in regards to that. And I've personally watched you grow so much just since I've known you and vice versa. So
Yes, yes.
yeah. Um, so I just wanted to bring you on the show and just kind of talk about, you know, what you think of how does one find their passion or really truly live out their authentic self and their dreams.
One of the big things that helped me a lot. When I started spending more time with myself, a lot of people would call it meditation, which it is meditation. I started spending a lot of time in meditation and also a lot of time in quietness,
Mm.
and then that's where I found the things that I really enjoy, my true passions, my answers as to what I should do next. So along my path, I've been learning a lot of different tools to help me get to where I am right now.
Right.
So it's about being transforming by the renewing of the mind. That's what Paul talks about in the Bible. And I love that because that's the only thing that help our life change is by changing what we think about, changing what we believe. And it's an ongoing process. And
Right.
then, even with that, what I started doing is once I decided what it is that I really want to do, I started setting my intentions every day and holding focus, you know, and not caring so much about what everybody else is doing. Because what I learned is everybody have their own journey. So it's to mind my own business.
Yeah, right. Or agenda.
Yes.
we'll call we'll call it journey. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Mind your
Hmm.
own business. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That is a learned practice.
Hmm.
I think that a lot of times we want to worry about everyone else, and
Hmm.
yet we're not worrying about ourselves, and we're the ones who really need it, the attention.
Hmm.
So a lot of times we go through life and we're more concerned about everyone else, what everyone thinks, what everyone's
That's right.
doing, right?
That's right.
And we're just letting, like, what are we doing?
Hmm.
We're putting all of our energy outside instead of
Hmm.
focusing inside, like you said. So I think one of the really key thing that you just said was it's when you get silent and
Hmm.
you meditate and you connect with source is when you really get your answers.
Exactly, because most of us really live in the external world. And
Mm-hmm.
with that comes, for me, I speak about my experience, came a lot of stress and chaos. Because then you try to live it to what society think, try to live it with all these titles, the wife, the mother, the daughter, the sister. And all those titles come with what you think are expectations on you. You
Ah,
know?
yeah.
So for me, one thing I had to do is step back. And my mother used to always ask me this question: what is Dana gonna do? When I got overwhelmed about anything, she'd be saying to me, what is Dana gonna do? One thing about her, she did not allow me to vent. And
Event?
to vent. Like
Oh,
if I get stressed and I just want to, just dump it, she never allowed that from me.
hmm.
And what is Dana gonna do? I did not have those answers when she was asking me.
Mm.
And the great thing, then I started the meditation process and then the visualization.
Okay.
Just getting still and quiet every day
Can
and
you?
start asking, what is it for me to do? What is for my highest and best good? How can I serve myself and be beneficial to others? You
Right.
know, because even though I say I'm not too concerned with what people think, because I shouldn't be over concerned with that, but I still know my life is not unto myself. Our life is a rippling effect,
Mm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So we're conduits for the good to flow through.
Yeah.
So even with me
Love
knowing,
that. Conduits for the good
mm-hmm,
flow through.
so
Yeah.
even with me now understanding what my passions are and what I'm going to do and set my intentions every day, I still know it's not unto me I live. It's a conduit of expression of the great I am that's within me. So that's what the transformation process really is, allowing the greater to come.
Allowing the greater to come. Yeah. Could you talk about, you mentioned visualization. Some people might not even know what that is or how to implement it or use it.
Well, visualization is really knowing what it is that you want. Okay, you don't have to worry about the how. Don't even be concerned with the how.
Hmm.
But once you get an idea about what it is that you want, you can start you can start sitting down and seeing it, actually visualizing it from the beginning to the end. Okay, like I'll give you a perfect example.
Yes, please.
Um, when I first learned about visualization, it was through Dr. Michael Beckwith. And he was taking a trip to Egypt, and I wanted to go on this trip. And I really didn't have the monies at the time for this trip. So what I started doing was sitting down every day and I started visualizing myself in Egypt,
Mm.
visualizing myself meeting. We had to also have, we had to decide who our roommate was going to be. Also, visualizing meeting my roommate, and I wasn't comfortable with meeting them in Egypt. So I decided I'm gonna fly out to LA and fly to Egypt with the group. So I even decided that I was gonna leave early in the morning, get to LA early in the morning, and I was gonna meet somebody, hang out with them for the whole day so I didn't have to be alone. So that's the vision and the focus that I just held. And you know how they say faith starts with the grain of a mustard seed and you go from there? That's
Mm-hmm.
the same thing with visualization.
Mm-hmm.
You just see in your mind's eye. This is our intuition, our third eye. Okay, this gives us insight. Okay, it's also called the ashna. So anyway, it's the third eye chakra. Anyway, I just started sitting with the ideal of going to Egypt. And it all started unfolding from there. Every time I sat and started thinking about Egypt, visualizing Egypt, it started growing more and more. And I started seeing myself still actually seeing the whole picture. And I knew that the money would come. I didn't have it at the time, but I believed that the universe would bring me the money and also bring me the money to pay my mortgage 3 months in advance.
Ooh, yeah.
So that was a great experiment. That was one of my first experiments. And from then, I've just been doing experiment after experiment, just proving to myself this does work.
Right. So that was so you did all of it. So
I did.
the conclusion to that story, right, is that it all
Yes.
happened.
Absolutely. I did go to Egypt. I spent almost 2 weeks in Egypt. I did. My roommate did invite me to hang out with her all day, and I went to her house. And actually, she took me to the, I think it's the March, it's a, trying to think of the name of this center in California that she took me to. But when it comes to me, I'll tell you the name of the center. It's a big meditation center.
Okay.
And it's the guy that from India that came over in the early 1900s and was teaching about meditation and visualization.
Okay.
When
Wow.
it comes to me, I give you the name.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. So right. So once you really tested that, you've been testing. That's what I mean. I do the same thing. For sure. Visualization, just knowing, believing, feeling, exactly what the other thing that you said, third thing that you said was you don't need to know the how.
No.
Because
you
that's
don't want
the stress comes in and you're not allowing source and God to flow with just because it could be better than we think.
absolutely because that is
Is there something
that's true because if we get caught up in the how, the universe has so many different ways it can bring to you what you want. But when we get caught up in the house, we only can think of it from our narrow perspective.
Our little human self.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Like when I was believing that the money was going to come, I didn't know exactly how, from what source or what deal or what transaction or anything. I just knew that it was going to come.
Right. That's so cool.
And it did.
Yeah.
It did.
I know. I've seen all the pictures, the jewelry, all the stuff from Egypt. Amazing.
Yes, yes.
Amazing.
And the reason why that trip was so awesome was so awesome because it proved that this does work. Universal principles and the laws that are set in place, they do work.
Yes.
And you can never unknow what you know.
Say that again.
You can never unknow what you know.
Unknow what you know. Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Like sometimes people can talk about things in theory or intellectually, but it's different when you're actually living what you believe.
Yes. Right. Right. That's what we always say is prove it for yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I don't need you to believe me. Do it yourself. Do the work.
Exactly.
Try it. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So if you were to give advice to someone who was looking to really, figure out what their path was or their passion, what three things would you recommend they do? I mean, I think we just discussed them, but if you just had to, come off the top of your head, what three tips would you give?
Start asking yourself what it is that you like. What brings you joy? What brings you joy? And I do believe what brings you joy is also the answer to your purpose and your money-making future.
Ooh.
Yes.
I love that.
Because God even says your gift will make room for you. What is your gift? What do you love to do?
What do you love to do?
What do you love to do? What brings you joy?
Yeah.
And a lot of times people can be so caught up with doing things that they don't, for everyone else, they don't even know what truly makes them happy.
Right.
What do you like to do every day if you could?
Right.
And try to build your life around that.
Right. And that is what I think everybody misses. Because we're programmed to think we're supposed to be doing certain things. And yet there's really not that, there's really no set anything if you really think about it. I didn't have to get married. I didn't have to do anything.
That's right.
Right? But I thought I did at the time, I thought. It's interesting.
But
Yes,
that was a thought that you had in place. That's why it happened. Nothing never happens without that thought first.
exactly. Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 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 So very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. This is Dana Smith. She is amazing, awesome. You guys must go to her YouTube channel, Universal Consciousness, and make sure you like, subscribe, and follow, as well as mine, Karyn Kane's YouTube channel. It says Karyn Kane's Believe in Humans. And you could also follow us on Facebook as well. So thank you
Yes.
so much for being here. I know you had a busy day and you took the time out to be with everybody today. Is there anything else you wanted to leave off with everybody?
Yes, I will also say we have the intuition that's always working, always available to give us insight and answer our questions. Even when you go before you go to bed at night, you can ask yourself the question, what is it for me to do? What brings me joy? Because if you're not sure, ask yourself because the universe is always listening.
Yeah.
And I tell you the truth, your answer will come.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Ask yourself.
And I am fully on board with that. Thank you.
Yes.
Good little and way
Thank you
to end.
so much, Karyn.
Yeah. Awesome wisdom bombs, Dana.
Okay, see you next time.
Thank you for being here. I love you.
Love you too. Bye now.
See you soon.
See you soon.